What's up, everybody? Welcome back once again to the Swanky Disc Golf Show. I am your host, Luke. I am joined this week by Josiah. Nope, not Josiah. No Josiah this week, but we do have
Josiah.
Reed. It's just me and Reed this week, and we're going to break down some pretty crazy storylines from WACO. If any of you have not watched it, absolute thriller of a tournament. We're going to talk a few crazy happenings on the tour, and then we're also going to jump into the Open at Austin coming down the pipe. But first off, how are you doing, Reed? Are you having a good week so far?
Pretty good, yeah. Well, we went to Charlotte this week for an absolute sprinter of a day trip, and that was a ton of fun. So I've played a lot of disc golf this week. And yeah, got outside and threw my entire bag and my entire practice bag with my daughter in the yard, getting her pumped up. She's throwing like 40 feet max distance these days.
Wow.
Just absolutely cranking them. So
she's like 2, just so you guys know. That is a pretty good distance.
Yes, she is throwing much, much further than I feel like she should be. So it's actually crazy. But good disc golf week, good weather week. Good overall week. Charlotte was a ton of fun.
Absolutely. No, I had a blast in Charlotte. For those of you who have not seen it yet, we have a vlog out that is a ton of fun. We got to do a lot of fun stuff in Charlotte. We played some Hornet's Nest. We played some Kilbourne. We got to check out another round. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Got to do some fun stuff. So be sure to check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. I know the past couple weeks it's not made it to YouTube because of some technical issues, but this week we should be back up on YouTube. The goal is to have the podcast out every single week on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe, like the video if you're liking this kind of content, and be sure to, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the show. Let's jump into a little bit of WACO. A lot of fun to watch. I actually quite enjoyed the new course personally. I kind of like seeing these more manicured golf course type places. I know some people think it's a little more boring than woods golf. I liked it. I enjoyed watching it. Of course, the main storyline from this weekend, if you didn't see, Luke Humphreys and Gannon Buhr going into the last hole. Luke Humphreys is up by 1 stroke, and we saw him just kiss his chances goodbye as he bogeyed the hole, and Gannon Buhr birdied it. We had Nicholas Antela tied for second with Luke Humphreys. Anthony Barella tied for 4th place with Mason Ford, who was on the lead card of the final round. Also on the lead card of final round was Nate Sexton, who fell a little bit off the leaderboard there. What did you think of the event overall, Reed? Did you get to watch it much?
Yeah, I watched a decent amount. Obviously, I missed all of Friday because we were in Charlotte, but I watched some Thursday coverage at the Beast. I watched some Saturday coverage at the Beast, and didn't watch any Lake Waco coverage until Jomez final round because I wasn't able to watch final round live. But Jomez final round coverage was really good. Again, the saving grace of our year so far has been Jomez's new strategy to cover other cards. Thank goodness they're doing that, because this one was a wild one also, with Anthony Barella, like you mentioned, and with Nicholas Antela not on card. To get that extra coverage was huge. But I love watching the Beast. I think that course in Waco is so awesome.
No, the Beast is unparalleled.
Yeah, I love watching. It's just so fun to watch it. I don't know why. It's so technical. Every hole seems super birdieable. Some of them even I feel like I could go out there and birdie. Having been there, I know that I cannot. But on camera, they look like you can. But then final round was electric, and Gannon is so unbelievably clutch. It's crazy how clutch he is.
Yes.
Humphreys basically parks 17, and Gannon puts it to this 50 foot, maybe it was 45 feet uphill putt that he just absolutely cans in Humphreys' face to keep it close, and then just puts it right in C1.
How do you win after that, really?
After Humphreys goes OB on 18, Gannon puts it in circle 1, and at that point you knew it was absolutely over. He wasn't missing that putt. You could just tell. He had some bad breaks too going through down the stretch. Like he had this disgusting spit out on 11. Gannon did from like, I don't know, it was a classic Gannon like 30-foot putt that stormed the chains like they stormed Helm's Deep, and I mean it was bad. He throws so hard, so you're gonna get some spit outs, but it was a disgusting spit out.
Says Prodigy Baskets. No.
Right, exactly. So to battle through that and still get the W, I just came away thinking like this kid is so clutch, and he is like 18. It's insane.
Yeah, I was coming into the evening with similar thoughts. The podcast with similar thoughts. I was like, Gannon looked scary. I know everyone else was like, not everyone else. There were a few people keeping up, and it was a very close race all the way down to the final round, final few holes. But Gannon Buhr looked so confident and also professional. I just want to say that. I don't know. I felt almost weird. I'm like, is this the same like 16, 17-year-old kid we've been watching? Like he looked very poised, very composed, never lost his temper or anything like that. Even just the way he carried himself and dressed was like a savvy vet. And which is terrifying because he's 18 or 19 years old. So I am very excited for the future of Gannon Buhr, and I think all the other disc golf competitors out there should be very scared about the future of Gannon Buhr. Because Luke Humphreys was going off. This lead card maybe looked a little bit weird from the outside looking in at you had Mason Ford on the lead card, who great player, Nate Sexton on the lead card, great player. But the more notable thing about this event was all of the players who did not make the cut.
I know.
Let me go down to the final round and just read some of these notable names. These are just more notable ones. Isaac Robinson, Ben Calloway, Brody Smith, Chris Clemens, Kevin Jones, Silas Schultz, Paul Macbeth, Colton Montgomery, Gavin Babcock, Thomas Gilbert, Albert Tan, Paul Kranz. Like, everybody missed the cut. Simon Lizotte, Chandler Kramer, Drew Gibson. We're down in the 80th places now. Evan Scott. Like, so many incredible players missed the cut. But I feel like this is just such a typical start to the year. Am I wrong, or does this happen every year before when it started in, like, Vegas and stuff like that, or Goat Hill? I feel like it was the same thing. There were always some wild cards. Like Luke Humphreys pops off at WACO every year. And I don't know what it is, but the start of the year I feel like always looks kind of like this. Like obviously a few players who are, bound to be there are there, like Gannon Buhr. Chris Dickerson up there. Ezra Robinson tied for 7th. Awesome finish there. Ricky Wysocki and Adam Hammis and Casey White and Joel Freeman and Nate Sexton tied for 10th. That's a crazy list of 10th place players.
Lots of names
Some
there.
of the usual suspects, but so many names missing from the cut, which I thought was pretty wild. FPO side, we got to talk about the FPO side, of course, the inevitability of Kristin Tattar. After the first round, Owen Scoggins was up 8 under par, Ella Hansen 7 under, and Kristin Tattar 6 under. And so everyone was like, oh my goodness, is Kristin Tattar human finally? Round 2, Ella Hansen 15 under total score. Owen Scoggins 13 under, Kristin Tattar 9 under. Holland Hanley starts climbing, Haley King starts climbing, and we're like, oh man, Kristin Tattar, it might not happen. She might actually lose an event. No. It did not happen. After round 3, Ella Hansen, so to Kristin Tattar's credit, she absolutely popped off and shot 7 under, but Ella Hansen gave up her first place spot shooting 4 over par in the 3rd round. So that seemed like a big deal. It turned out that it wouldn't be a big deal. Kristin Tattar won by 7 strokes after being down the first 2 rounds. So she shook the rust off pretty darn quick and completely took over. And then it looks like your very typical FPO field of Kristin Tattar, Owen Scoggins, Holland Hanley, Evelina Salonen, and Haley King tied for 4th. So did you watch any of the FPO?
I did. Especially on the days I was watching live, so Thursday and Saturday, which again were both beast days. I was watching live, and dude, this is a tale as old as time. Like, look at this scorecard after round 2. You have Ella at 15 under par, which is solo second if she doesn't play a single another hole of disc golf. 15 under par is solo second. So and the FPO field just happens to itself. Like, Kristin Tattar just plays disc golf. She consistently shoots under par, and the rest of the FPO field just can't do that very same thing. They cannot consistently shoot under par. Ella Hansen pops off round 1 and round 2, and then goes over par 2 rounds in a row to drop all the way down to 8 under. She was the same score at the end as she was basically, 1 stroke difference after round 1. It's just unbelievable, the collapse. And Kristin not only plays like a very mild-mannered final round, and just all of her rounds were pretty mild. She had a great third round where she shot 7 under.
Yes.
But outside of that, she has these very chill 6 under, 5 under, or 6 under, 3 under, and 4 under rounds to just kind of like walk into a dominant victory. Like, it is crazy how this happens over and over again in this FPO field. And she's not doing anything unbelievable except being consistent. And we say it every week, but if this is what the FPO field looks like this year, I mean, it's going to be last year again, maybe worse.
Maybe worse. It could be worse. No, I do agree. It's kind of sad seeing these last rounds of Kristin Tattar. It's like it's incredible to watch her dominate the rest of the field, but we are seeing this more and more often. Her walking through the last round. She can shoot over par if she wants to. The final round of most events, and you're right. She's not putting up crazy numbers, and she's even said this. I believe there was a few interviews now where she says, like, I'm not pushing myself. Like, I am playing very safe and, playing for birdie when I can and not getting too aggressive, which it would be crazy to see her get aggressive then, I guess. I don't want to, obviously this isn't to take anything away from her and like put it on the FBO field, but it is true when you see Ella Hansen is capable of an 8 under round at Lake Waco, and then gives it up over at the Beast. And it's hard to see. All she had to do was through 2 rounds go 5 under, and she could have been T1, gone to a playoff or whatever. So I say all you have to do. Obviously, there's a lot of factors, but we see this. You're right. We see this over and over again. That Kristin Tattar just plays consistently, and it is more than enough to beat the rest of the FPO field. Good round from Owen Scoggins. Good round from Holly Hanley to bring it down the stretch. One storyline I do want to talk about. Again, we're going to the people who didn't make the cut. We want to talk legacy. We want to talk goats. And 2 goats. 1 goat didn't make the cut, we should say. And the other goat came in 13th place in a less than stellar FPO field. Do we feel like, I know Paige Pierce is coming off of injury, Paul McBeth coming off of injury. Do we feel like these tournaments are starting to hurt their legacy, their performances starting to hurt the legacy of like Paige Pierce, who we kind of know to be the greatest of all time, and Paul McBeth, who we've known for so long to be the greatest of all time, maybe in the twilight of their careers because of injuries? Do we feel like this is starting to hurt their legacy, or what can they do to break out of this, or should they break out of this? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it doesn't hurt their legacy, but it kind of like hurts the optics. Like, I think people are going to see it and think this is hurting their legacy, but in the long run, it's not going to, because we're not going to remember in the long run, I think, this portion of Paul's career. If Paul never comes back and wins any more events after this, then we are going to forget this portion, and we're only going to remember his dominance. Same with Paige. So I don't really think that continuing to play is a bad thing, and I also think it's kind of like tippable, really. Like, I think that they continue to fight through these injuries, and and they still have the passion to do this. So like, I love that they're out there doing it, battling through these injuries and trying to get the reps in now, so that when they're healthy, hopefully at the back end of the season, like fully 100%, then they don't have any rust. They're able to just like compete at the highest level right away. If they feel like it's not hurting them or extending their injuries at all, then I love to see it, honestly. And no, I don't think it hurts their legacy.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's hard to take away from the dominance that they had in the era that they had. I feel like with Paige Pierce specifically, like obviously she had a pretty gruesome injury that is potentially going to take away from the rest of her career. But I think she's only a year or two older than Kristin Tattar. And Kristin Tattar is dominating the way that Paige Pierce did in a much more competitive field. And so that, I feel like, is going to start weighing on the Paige Pierce legacy. I mean, Paige Pierce in her prime was insane, but in the young sport of disc golf, again, this is just everybody's talk. Paige Pierce does not have to care about this at all. She has so many wins, it's insane. But in, the young sport of disc golf, people would say it was not nearly as competitive as it is today. And you see Kristin Tattar doing what Paige did today. Some of these performances at least are even more dominant. If Kristin Tattar wins Worlds again this year, I don't know what we're going to say. I feel like that's going to start to taint Paige Pierce's legacy a little bit. Paul McBeth was pretty darn dominant for quite some time. And people will say a similar thing. I think if you start to see people like Gannon Buhr, or I don't know if anybody can dominate the MPO field the way that Paul McBeth dominated the MPO field, so his legacy might be cemented. But disc golf was such a young sport that they're going to have that excuse. If Gannon Buhr starts doing Paul McBeth things today, they're going to say, was Paul McBeth really that great, or was it just the rest of the MPO field was super weak? Might be a little bit of both. I don't know. Also, though, I don't think that. I don't think anyone's going to do what Paul McBeth did today. I think that's impossible. But
yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, and I think
I don't know. What do you think?
If you phrase the question like, is Kristin Tattar hurting Paige Pierce's legacy? Absolutely, because she's going to be the greatest of all time if she isn't already. Like, it's kind of like, it's not Paige playing through injury and continuing to take these poor placements that's hurting it. At least I don't think so. And the same for Paul. It's like, is him continuing to push the envelope hurting his legacy and like show up event after event and get dominated hurting him? I don't think so. But would Gannon Buhr going on a 4-year in a row championship winning streak, or like Worlds winning streak, would that challenge Paul for the GOAT status? Absolutely. Same for Kristin. So like, Paul and Paige's status as the GOAT is certainly not safe, but I think their legacy as like dominant players, that is safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, still I feel like Paul McBeth is going to be the Michael Jordan to Gannon Buhr's LeBron James soon.
Yeah, very possible.
You're going to be like, no, you can't be better than Paul McBeth. He's, a man, myth, legend.
And Calvin Heimberg is like Karl Malone. He's never going to win one.
Exactly. God forbid Paige Pierce or Paul McBeth turn into like Bill Russell or something like that. That's going to be a sad day to see. Where they're like, they just won a bunch. I mean, that's what Ken Climo kind of feels like sometimes. It's like, no, he just won a bunch because nobody else was playing.
He was playing against plumbers.
he was literally playing against plumbers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if these performances are hurting their legacy per se. I'm sure it's not hurting their disc sales because they're such known personalities. But I feel like if it continues for this entire season and they continue to play through injury and they continue to just take really bad finishes, they're not going to be seen on coverage. I think that's going to start getting noticed. You're going to say, we haven't seen Paige Pierce or Paul McBeth in a long time. It's early in the season, though. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Paul McBeth could still come out and win Worlds. And so could Paige Pierce because, anyone can win Worlds because of how the format is. Greg Barsby is going to
Absolutely.
pop in there and win Worlds someday, We did a pick'ems for WACO, and
We did.
I'm happy to say I don't think Reed won. Am I
I
correct in
didn't.
saying that? Josiah
Once
usually
again,
keeps all the scores for us.
I'm cheesed. I feel gypped. Josiah dominated. First of all, he had great picks.
Yeah.
But so like I wasn't gonna touch him anyway. But Alexis Mandujano didn't even play. She got injured the day before, or like she tweaked something in the practice round, and she pulled out of the tournament. So she did not play. And Calvin didn't play either. I
Calvin
never
didn't
got an
play.
answer on why.
I have to look up why. I swear he was signed up for it, but I could be wrong. I picked Calvin. I also picked Drew Gibson, who finished in like 90th place.
Yeah, he did
So
not
that had
do
me
well.
out of it right off the bat. Was done. I think I picked Allie Smith, who did not make the cut. Even though after round 1 she was like T6. She ended up not making the cut.
Yeah, and I picked Isaac to win, and he didn't make the cut. He
didn't make the cut.
He missed it by 3 strokes, or no, by 1 stroke, 3 spots. Yeah, really tough performance from Isaac.
Crazy to see that. Yeah.
I mean, I remember going into the All-Star weekend, or maybe it was going into Olympus, he said his goal for the year was to not have any of these poor performances like he did last year. He had like 2 of these where he would finish mid-40s.
Yeah.
And then he was top 10 the rest of the time. But like it was his goal to eliminate these like blips, and here we have another one. So hopefully he can make this one his only blip. But yeah, he really tore me down, especially when my MPO dog came T4. I was stoked about that.
Yeah.
And then I obviously had Kristin on the other side, so had some good ones, had some not so good ones. We move on.
Locked in the Kristin pick. Yes, we're gonna have to move on from that. It is tough to see out of Isaac, especially considering that's what swayed the Player of the Year vote. Was Calvin Heinberg never finished outside of like top 10 or something like that, top 15, and he finished top 5 almost every single event that he played. And there were just a few Isaac Robinson finishes that bumped him down, and that really did decide Player of the Year. So hopefully this is a one-time thing. He did struggle early last year as well. It was the first few tournaments where he did not place well.
He did not place well at
and
this
then he found
tournament
his
last
groove.
year. It was WACO as well. So interestingly
WACO.
enough, I went ahead and picked him because I was confident that he was done doing that, and he was not done doing that. So
He is not done doing that. I don't know. Need to look at the whole lineup from last year because Luke Humphreys does well at WACO. Isaac Robinson doesn't do well at WACO. Maybe we need to start paying more attention to specific tournaments and who does well and who does not do well.
yeah, maybe we should just start picking Gannon Burr. I mean, honestly, this kid, WACO did not feel like a Gannon Burr W to me coming in. Like the Beast feels so gimmicky, but man, I mean. Obviously, the Lake Waco course plays to his strengths, but like, he just is so good.
He's insane. Truly insane and truly terrifying. Also, Anthony Barella finishing in T4 should not be overlooked. He just hung in this tournament, man, and shot 11 under the final round. It's his year, potentially.
He shot 11 under
Anthony
final round with an ace and a double bogey. What?
That's amazing. Yes, he took a 6 on hole 4, took a 1 on hole 11. I think Anthony Barella is potentially going to be looking real good this year. Keep an eye on him. Ricky Wysocki also T10. Ricky Wysocki is one of those savvy vets that I feel like he's a good bit younger than Paul, isn't he? Or is he not that much younger than Paul?
Yes, he is a decent bit younger. Well, I think like 4 years. Like he might be like 29. Paul's 33. Let me just look it up.
Okay.
Ricky's 30.
Well, I
he's
say
3
that
years
to say
younger.
that Ricky and Paul have been in the conversation for such a long time together. But if Ricky, I wonder what Ricky would have to do to surpass Paul in any sort of way, or if it's even possible at this point in his career. because they were neck and neck. I feel like, let's just stay with the basketball analogies. Ricky is like Kobe, where he swings in there. There's a lot of people who he's their favorite player, and they would maybe even say, like, no, Ricky's the GOAT, because of those 80-point performances. But so, like, I don't know. What does Ricky have to do to surpass Paul McBeth, or is it even possible?
I think it's a little late for Rick to surpass McBeth. I mean, we're talking about a 4 world championship deficit and a absolutely countless major deficit. It is unbelievable how many more majors Paul has than Rick. Rick hasn't got a major since, 2017? It's been like 7 years since Rick got a major. He has a lot of wins, but none of them all that significant. Obviously, he won Player of the Year 2 years ago. That's great and all, but again, not something we're really going to remember. So I think it's pretty close to impossible. Rick would have to go on like a dominant streak like Paul did, where he's just Player of the Year, winning countless majors over the next 3 years. And with Gannon and Calvin in the field now, it's just, and like Barella, like the Robinsons, it just feels impossible. I mean, I didn't even say Kyle Klein's name. Like, I know, it just feels impossible. Eagle and Simon are out there, not even like all Nico that Santala in the mix right now. Like, dude, it's getting tough to win majors.
It's getting real hard, and that's the other discussion is it even possible? And it's not looking possible until somebody comes around that proves you wrong. Somebody like a LeBron James, or somebody maybe comes around better than LeBron James, so you're like, could they be the GOAT? I don't know. I also heard there was some controversy with Ricky. Speaking of Ricky, in round 2, did you hear anything about this?
Yeah. So this was kind of lighting up the Twitter feed yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever this happened, because like in round 2, I guess Ricky was like early to his card, but not early enough, and so he got strokes assessed. He shot 9 under that round, but his scorecard says 7 under because he got a 2-stroke penalty for being not early enough, is my understanding. And I guess there was some drama because I know it's crazy. I guess there was drama because people were trying to figure out which of his card mates called him on this, because in disc golf we do that, we call each other on things, and that's how the rules are enforced. But Kyle Klein, who was on his card, was suggesting that is not what happened, and there's like a director or an official of some kind that was handling those issues for them on the card. So, or like on hole 1, I guess. I'm not really sure of all the specifics of it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the official calls him on a time not being early enough. Crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm looking at his round now. He shot 9 under, and it's reflected as 7 under. That is an interesting new rule. We're going to have to look up some rules, because I think a few things changed this year, and that's wild. I would be super ticked, and it's really funny. Or maybe it was chess.com. It was chess.com. It wasn't WACO, I don't think. It was in Alden's vlog, right? Alden's vlog, where Gannon Burr like calls Ricky Wysocki, and he's like, hey, the round's canceled today, dude. Don't worry about it. It's raining.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, and Ricky believed him for a second.
Wait,
so,
oh my gosh.
I don't know.
What?
I'm pretty sure that was...
wait, that was for All-Star, right? Surely that was for All-Star.
That was for All-Stars or
oh
something
my
like
gosh,
that.
dude,
yeah.
you've got me panicking. That would be hilarious if that happened.
But either way, not early enough is wild, because I know there's like the if you miss... 2 strokes for not being early enough is bizarre, because if you miss the hole, or if you miss the start of the hole, it's a 3-stroke penalty, right? It's like 3 strokes for each hole you miss or something. Or is it...
Well, if you miss a hole, if you don't play, it's par plus 4. Yeah.
Par plus 4.
But if you're
so
late, but you can still like... so like you're considered late if you're not there when it's your time to throw, I think. Or that's how it was before. But you have forfeited your opportunity to play the hole if you're not there within 30 seconds, like within your time to throw. So there's a difference between like lateness and like forfeiting the hole. But okay, I have a correction to make too, because Kyle was not even on his card. Kyle, I just read an Instagram comment where people were calling out Kyle for doing it, and Kyle saying, "Guys, I wasn't even on Rick's card, but there was an official on hole 1 making these calls." So it was likely an official, not Kyle Klein. Somehow Kyle's getting drugged through the mud here. No idea how. But yeah, that is a super weird take.
That's
not a
super
par
weird.
plus 4 situation, but yeah, I mean,
No.
weird.
I don't know if you can fault the official, I guess, if it's a rule. If it's like you have to be here at this time, and if you're not, it is a 2-stroke penalty. But I don't know. I don't know the situation. Unless there is some leniency there and the official was just like, nope, I'm calling it. I don't know. That is a very weird situation that I don't think I like. But it depends. As someone who is famously never early to start around, I have absolutely rolled up to the tee pad at the tee time and, like, you know, bumped fists with everybody and started. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I think they had some issues with people doing that last year, and that's probably why
Yeah.
they made this happen, is because there was definitely a few instances last year with people, like, literally rolling up just on time or, like, 20 seconds late so that they, like, ran up, grabbed a disc, and threw so they were still within their time. And they were trying to
that's
avoid
a
that
bad
for, like,
look for the Pro Tour.
professionalism's sake. So, yeah, I don't entirely disagree with it, but I think it should be more like 2 minutes. Like, if you're not 2 minutes early, you're late. And even so,
I
you
would
could
give
go
even
so
more than
far
that,
as
probably.
to say that, like, your tee time is not 10 o'clock. Your tee time is 9:58. Something like that, like, could encourage people to be
Yeah.
on time. I don't know, but whatever. It is
I
what
have
it is.
to
If
see
it's
the
a rule, it's a rule.
I would
yeah.
expect it to be like 15 minutes early or something like that. It would say you have to be here 15, and I'm totally okay with that. It just depends on how dramatic the rule is, I think, and how dramatically not early he was. Like, if the rule is 15 minutes early to your card, if it's a Pro Tour event, that makes perfect sense to me. Like,
Yeah,
you
you're
have
honestly
to be there
right.
15
That's
minutes
true.
early. That's totally fine. But if it's like you have to be there 30 minutes early and he showed up 25 minutes early and got a 2-stroke penalty, I'm ticked. I'd be so mad. But if it's 15 minutes and he showed up 2 minutes early, then he probably does deserve the strokes. I don't know the situation. We need the details. Where's Disc Golf TMZ?
I know.
You know?
You've convinced me, actually. I think they should have to be even earlier. I think that I was like, when I was going over it, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, these are professionals. Why are you not 5 minutes early to your tee time? What in the world?
Yeah. No, and
At
I think
least,
that's
like,
a big
check
part
in
of
with the card official, or like check in with the official on
Yeah.
T1. I'm here. I'm going to practice putt, or I'm going to the bathroom. Like, just say I'm here 15 minutes before. You
Yes.
know, he puts a check by your
Yeah.
name, and now you can just come and throw when it's your turn. You know, like, whatever.
Bada bing, bada boom. I 100% agree, and I think the Pro Tour has been trying to step up the professionalism with dress code and quite a few different things, and I think this makes perfect sense. It's just a matter of how it actually went down, I think could potentially bother me. But as far as just having a rule that says you need to be 15 minutes early to a Pro Tour event, or 30 minutes, whatever it is, yeah, that stands for sure.
Right.
Right. All right. Let's move into the Open at Austin. This week's Pro Tour event. We're gonna do some pick'ems for this, and I need to see if Calvin's playing because I don't know. He didn't play this last time.
That is
And
kind
here's
of
gonna
important.
I said I'm not gonna talk at length about this anymore. We're recording this on a Monday. I'm on the PDGA live site, and I am not seeing the Open at Austin. So that is gonna frustrate me to no end if I have to go to a different website. I see the Open at Austin AM event.
No, you
I'm
can't
gonna
see
have
it
to
yet.
go to a
I already
different
tried.
website.
It
Okay.
is not
So
there.
PDGA Live is not ready for us. We
And
won't
I don't
talk
even
about
know.
it. We
I don't
won't
even know.
talk about it.
I don't know what to
I'm
say.
going to just PDGA's website because it has to be there. But
Does it?
that is wild. It has to be because that's how people register.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
I hope.
It's just kind of it's insane that we have to go searching like this. But Calvin did post on Instagram saying that he has decided to sit out the WACO event due to a lingering elbow injury. Interesting.
That's not good.
I was not aware he was injured at all.
No.
And he posted this like the day before WACO. So I guess maybe he was even out there. I'm not sure. It seems like a lot of people like Nate Sexton, Drew Gibson are in the comments pretty surprised. So yeah, I think that not a lot of people knew about this.
That is weird. Yeah, I had absolutely no idea. I have it pulled up on the PDGA website, not on the PDGA live site. Before I say this, I did want to say one thing. I didn't get to watch any live coverage, and in sports, 10 out of 10, going to watch live coverage anytime I can. But I watched some Jomez coverage, and I was so impressed, as always. And obviously, like post-produce, you can do so much more with. But still, year over year, they outdo themselves and grow so much more than the live coverage. The live coverage does improve a little bit each year. But the Jomez coverage and the production quality and the ideas, just the creativity that they start throwing out there. Like you said, they're starting to cover more than one card. They're able to jump in between different stories. They were jumping to Casey White in the final round and Anthony Barella in the final round. It was so good, and they keep improving so much, and they work for the Pro Tour now. So I'm really hoping it rubs off on the Pro Tour somehow. Did you watch any Jomez coverage?
Yeah, just the final round, but I mean, it was great. And I think they probably have access to more cameras now since they work for the DGPT. Maybe they're able to like dual purpose those cameras and like get some of the footage for their post round stuff, because like it definitely felt more like I was watching a live event than before. Like even the like Anthony Barella push, like if you're watching Jomez, during the middle of Jomez, you really feel like Anthony Barella is pushing for the win, even though he really wasn't, because he was so far ahead of everybody that by the time he got into the clubhouse, like the guys had passed him, you know, just a couple of holes into the back nine, and they were the rest of the round, they weren't really worried about him. But like, just like on live coverage, when you've got a guy early in the day, like really pushing the envelope, it feels like he's a contender. Even though old Jomez coverage, we would never have known that Barella was even there because he was not on lead card and not a factor at the end. They would show it
in between the like front. They would show it at the end of the front nine and be like, "Oh, Anthony Barella, watch out, he's going."
Yeah.
On.
Oh, look at him go. Yeah. I mean, exactly. And heaven forbid that we get a chase card winner last year and get like absolutely no coverage of them this year. I feel like if we get a chase card winner, we're going to have so much coverage of that player on the Jomez, and that's going to be such a huge improvement with like how many chase card winners we had last year.
Yes, 100%. I agree. Jomez puts out an incredible product, and it's improved even greater.
I have to say, though, my gosh, the new Jomez theme is not it for me. I do not like it.
It's a little bit funky this year. It is a little bit funky this year.
They change it every year. Most of the time I like it.
Creative and change it every year. Yeah.
Not this year. Not it for me.
That is understandable. Question: for pick'ems, do we go Statmando official rankings or power rankings?
Ooh, good question. I think we go Statmando official stand. Isn't it standings? No. Yeah. Wait. Is it standings or rankings?
I don't know. I'm looking at Statmando rankings, and I see the 24-month ranking and our 15-week ranking. I think 15-week actually makes sense if we do the power rankings.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at this. Rankings.
There's world standings, but that's the Disc Golf Pro Tour world standings that they seem to have.
Was it rankings that we did last week too? I mean, this looks halfway decent right here.
Are you doing official or power?
Official.
Official.
Power is going to be two based like week to week. Yeah, like there seems to have been very little movement in these official rankings, so that's good.
Gannon
that's
Burr
what we want.
surpassed Calvin Heimberg as number one.
As he should. Calvin
For
not
those of
playing.
you who don't know, or if you have not listened before, if this is your first time listening, Pick'ems, we pick number one player to win the event, FPO and MPO, and then we pick an underdog, MPO, FPO. And then we average together those placements, and whoever wins a prize, which I usually decide very last minute. Last week, Josiah won what did Josiah win?
I can't even remember.
A Spore. He won a Neo Spore from Discmania. I do remember that now. Today, what do I have in front of me? I don't know if I have anything to give. We'll decide a prize next week because I don't have any discs in front of me that I can give away.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we also we're workshopping it a little bit. Let us know in the comments below if you have any ideas for us to do something more with Pick'ems, something more creative.
Okay,
we've been kind of doing the same Pick'ems for a while.
I think we should play for mini prizes for the first few weeks, and then from European Open to the end of the year, play a cumulative game where we're playing for something big.
Okay, I like that.
Every week we're playing, but we're just placing ourselves in 1, 2, or 3, and whoever wins the most, whoever has the most points at the end, they get a big prize, and we'll have a running standings. I think that'd be good.
I think that's a really good idea. Big prize, like a new bag or something like that, or an all expense paid trip to Worlds.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Something like that. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yes, but for this week, we're gonna do some normal pick'ems, and I mean, we have an extra Dreamweaver. If you guys don't know, we can do that. We have a few extra Dreamweavers. Somebody's gonna get an extra Jester Discs Dreamweaver, which is 7.5, -1, 1.5, and these things are gorgeous and they fly so nice. We're gonna have a review coming out on our Swanky Disc Review channel soon. But I have extra Dreamweavers, so whoever wins Pick'ems is going to get an extra Dreamweaver. Absolutely sick disc.
Perfect.
There we go. And I will go first this week because Reed went first last week.
Yep.
And we might get some mail-in from Josiah with leftover picks after me and Reed pick. We'll decide because we have to keep Reed from winning. For those of you who don't know, Reed has never really won Pick'ems.
That is so factually not factual.
It's basically factual. Statmando would have it up there probably. For our Pick'ems, I was going to say, I didn't even get to say this. If you're listening for the first time, also, we have to pick for our underdog outside of the top 15 for FPO and outside of the top 35 for MPO for underdog of the week. But if you have watched before, you will know that the first choice is always FPO winner, and it is always Kristin Tattar because she is a guaranteed top 3. So, she's borderline a guarantee win, but
that is
pretty
true.
much a guaranteed top 3. So I'm going to pick Kristin Tattar as the FPO winner as my first choice. While Reed is thinking, be sure to let us know who you're picking in the comments below. Let us know your underdog of the week. Let us know your winners of the week. And why is it Kristin Tattar again?
Yeah, I want to hear what all you guys are picking. I am going to take, in the least hot take of all time, potentially right after Kristin Tattar, of course, Gannon Buhr. He won last week, and he won this event last year. So, seems like a no-brainer. Going to take Gannon Buhr as my MPO winner. Are we snaking, or are we just doing straight up?
I don't know. We can probably just do it straight up since there's just 2 of us.
Fair enough. You next?
That is a good MPO winner pick. Let me look at the MPO underdogs. Who do we got coming in this week at a low ranking? Outside the top 35 here. At number 35. Oh, wow. At number 35, Luke Humphreys jumped up. He's number 34. Jumped up 21 spots.
That is crazy.
That is how much this one event is going to do it for you.
That's crazy because Mason Ford just moved up 4 spots. That is insane.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. I trust Statmando, I guess.
I guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Paul Ulibarri because he has been on a tear. Pretty soon here, he's not going to be able to get chosen as underdog. I think we've been choosing him. We've been like rotating, choosing Paul Ulibarri for underdog. I feel like so many weeks. Josiah picked him last week, and he finished top 18. So Paul Ulibarri, he's number 38. Probably going to be passing that soon. He didn't move at all, which is crazy to me. But
what did he get? What did he place 18th?
18th.
Yeah, that's
I'm just thinking of all of the names that didn't even make the cut. There's no way he didn't jump up a couple spots. But I don't know. Paul Ulibarri is my MPO underdog of the week.
Yeah, who even knows? I guess I better take my FPO dog then. Who fell out of the FPO? Macy Veladiaz dropped a spot.
Ooh.
Ali Smith, Sayananda, who even knows?
Ali Smith was looking like such a good underdog pick for the first round or two.
Yeah, just for a hot second there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is literally just anybody's game out there, really.
It is. It's a pretty big field this week also. There are I think it says 56 FPO players.
Yep, I'm gonna take Jessica Weiss this week. Let's see if is she playing for sure. Let me double check that she is playing because that would be just devastating. Yeah, okay, she's registered. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take Jessica Weiss. Did she play this week? Do we know? How'd she do? I'm just checking to be sure these people aren't injured. Like Jessica Weiss, T16. Yes. Okay, yeah, she played, so she's good. Okay, I'm gonna take her. She came in third at this event last year, and she's right there on the cut line. She actually was only 3 strokes off of the win last year behind Paige and Katrina, and beat Kristin at this event. So wow. we'll see how she does. So yeah, Jessica Weiss.
That's a good pick. I guess it doesn't really matter what I go with now. We're kind of bouncing back and forth off of these, so I'm gonna just go ahead and pick up Anthony Barella as my MPO winner of the week, because it's his year.
Truly.
It's freaking an AB's year.
Yeah, I like that pick. I'm going to buy some time for my MPO dog, and I'm going to take Missy Gannon as my FPO winner. I think I want Missy Gannon at this course. She's
usually a very safe pick.
She came in T3 at this event last year, which is I'm going heavy course and not so heavy this year. I know Missy started out this tournament well. She did not finish super good. She came in 9th, so which isn't a game breaker or anything, but certainly Holland Hanley has been hot this year so far. But I'm gonna take Missy.
That is also a good pick. I'm going to look to my FPO underdog of the week. And yeah, the FPO underdog of the week is always just such a crapshoot. Goodness gracious. Who is signed up this? Oh, yeah. Yep. I could pick Alexis Mandujano again.
You could, based on what you said, plus what we've talked about lately, that would probably not be a good pick. But
yeah,
she would just definitely not play.
Yeah, I think Paige Shue did pretty well this week. Doesn't she usually do pretty well in Texas? Or am I crazy? Didn't Sayananda do well in this event last year?
She did. She came in 9th.
She had like a run or something, or was on lead card maybe one round. I'm going to go with Sayananda as my FPO underdog. She dropped 1 spot. She's going to come back with a furious vengeance and remember last year.
With a furious vengeance. I like that.
Yes.
So, okay, I have 1 pick left to make, and then we're done.
I hope you're writing these down, because I'm not. And Josiah usually writes them down.
That's fair. Okay, let me go ahead and write them down.
We can always go back and just listen to the podcast, but that's a big pain in the butt.
That is a pain. Well, I have Burr and Gannon and Weiss. And you have Barella, correct? You have
Barella, Tattar, Paul Ulibarri, and Sayananda.
Yes, okay. That's a good lineup for you.
For a Dreamweaver, which we absolutely love the Dreamweaver, by the way.
Yeah.
Super good disc.
So I'm going Burr, Gannon, Weiss, and I am stuck right now between a couple of names. I loved Casey White's performance this week, and he's still
That's
under
true.
that cut line. But the other name that I loved, who I think is criminally underrated still on this Statmando list and will be coming back with a vengeance, is Nate Safton. He's
is he under the line? Wow.
Dude, he's way under the line, 76th, but he moved up 18 spots after this tournament.
Yeah.
He had a terrible stretch last year where he really fell off.
True.
Like, we were picking him a lot as a dog of the weeks last year, and he was having a tough stretch.
And he wasn't really coming through.
But this year,
he did mention that
obviously,
in Jomez. I don't know if you watched the final round of Jomez, but he said last year I lost that cash streak, and that really got to me. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to play safe anymore because I don't have to. I'm not trying to hold on to this cash streak. I should go for broke and try and win something. And he said he felt like he played terrible when he did that. And he was like, I'm just going to play my game this year, is what he said in the Jomez coverage. So
well, I love that.
Maybe he's back to cashing again for the rest of his career.
Yeah, obviously he didn't finish this tournament as well as he would have liked. He came in T10, but he didn't have a terrible performance at Open at Austin last year. Even he came in 25th, which literally, like, of the predictable guys in this top, like, it's basically all of your top 35 and then a few guys that you would never pick in a game like this, like Mason Marshbanks and Albert Tom and Tristan Tanner, like guys that I'm definitely not picking. So I'm going to take Nate Sexton, and hopefully he comes through for me.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Again, if you guys are watching on YouTube or if you're listening, be sure to go onto YouTube. Drop a comment. Let us know who you guys are picking. We love hearing from you guys. And that's going to do it for the show this week. We will see you guys after the Open at Austin and break everything down for you. Until then, stay swanky.